Now we are going to learn about the new topic and the topic name is generic product development process. Okay, in the previous lecture you have seen we talked about the design process. Okay, and now we're going to talk about the generic product development process. Remember that design process is an integral part of your product development process. Now you will see here what is happening. You can see one picture where stage 0 is planning. Okay, and in stage 0 what is happening? Manufacturing planning we are doing, functions planning we are doing, we are thinking about the design as well as the marketing. When it comes to the stage 1, concept development, means we are talking about many concept, 1 2 3 4 5 6, many concept you can talk about. Then once you are having many concept, what you can select? You can select one concept out of these choices, right? Then you can reach out to the stage 2, that is your system level design. And you know this fact, the system level design is also known as embodiment design, right? Or preliminary design. So there are three names of the same stage: preliminary design, and the third stage is detailed design. Okay, when you are done with the system level design, preliminary design, you can go ahead with the detailed design. And then once you are done with the detailed design, then you will be going for the testing and refinement. Okay, and at the stage 5 what you're going to do, you are just going to start the production ramp up. So we are going to see this complete generic product development cycle in detail now, right? So here you can see one detailed picture, and this picture is having the generic product development process, right? Here you can see we have given first number to planning, second to concept development, third to system level design, fourth to detail design, fifth testing refinement, and production ramp up. So everything is mentioned in the detail here in this diagram, right? So it is the designer's responsibility to look into all these steps in detail and just start the production ramp up. Okay, so we are going to see all these steps one by one, right? So first stage is your planning, and before planning there are some points to be remembered. So here what are the points? A process is a sequence of steps, we know this thing, right? A product development process is the sequence of steps or activities that an enterprise employs to conceive, design, and commercialize the product. Yes, many of the steps having intellectual and organizational rather than physical. Yes, point is true. And this process or these steps follows a precise and detailed development process, right? We are aware that there are 6 steps, right? Okay, that we have seen in the previous diagram. So here what is happening? Every organization employs a process at least slightly different from that of every other organization. See, if Maruti has to develop a car, they are going to adopt the different process. Okay, see, overall the process is going to be same, but they are going to have some differences. The minor differences will be there. Okay, so this is happening in all sort of companies. Now we are going to see the steps, right? So the first step, that is known as 0 step, and the step name is planning, right? So the planning activities is often referred to the phase 0 because it precedes the project approval as well as launch of the actual product development process. Here you are going to plan, right? So this process starts with the opportunity identification. See, opportunity identification means what you want to develop, right? What is your problem statement? Okay, and what is the requirement of the users? So ultimately you are going to identify the market objective as well as your company objective, like which product you want to launch. Like you just take the example of Apple. Apple has recently launched iPhone 16. Right now what they are going to launch in next year? iPhone 17. So they are going to make the changes accordingly, right? Their opportunity identification will start from today onwards, and accordingly they will set their objective as well as the market objective. So basically what is going to happen? The output of the planning phase is the project mission statement. For Apple, their mission statement is to launch the iPhone 17. Okay, iPhone 17, right? And these launching will specify the target market for the product. Yes, we know their business goals, what assumptions, and what assumption means what key features they want to use in their product, as well as the constraint along with all hypotheses associated with the product. Okay, so these all things are going to happen in the phase 0, that is planning. Now when it comes to concept development, yes, what we are going to do, as we discussed in the previous lecture as well, right? Concept development, you are going to identify the need of the market, like we talked about the iPhone 17. Then then the iPhone Apple company is going to create one or more concept. Okay, then what they are going to do, they are going to select the one concept. Okay, then further they will move to the next step, that is system level design. And system level design, again what we are going to do, we are going to talk about product architecture, right? Here you will see whether the product is modular or integral. Then you are going to configure the product, that is configuration design. And the third step is parametric design, where we are going to finalize all the parameters. Okay, that all process comes here into the system level design. Here you can see the system level design definition is product architecture. It is the part, then decomposition of product into subsystem and components, right? Here we are going to finalize, then we are going to finalize the geometric layout and functional specification of each product's subsystem, right? So here we are going for the complete detail level design on a preliminary level. Okay, that is your second step. Now comes to detail stage. When you have finalized everything, right, then here you will going to cross check all these details once again. Like here you are going to check geometry, materials, tolerances, everything. You are going to talk about the control documentation for the product as well, right? Here you have to talk about every aspect, whether it's a material selection, whether it's a production, right, whether it's a quality, delivery, market competition, every sort of concept you have to consider in the detailed design phase, right? Now come to like once we are done with the detailed design phase, now what we have to do, we are going for the next phase, that is the testing and refinement. Testing and refinement. Now what is the meaning of testing and refinement? Here when you are done with the detailed design phase, you will, what you will do, you will develop your prototype of the product, right? Prototype. Okay, and remember there are two types of prototype. First one is alpha, it is also known as early prototype. And the second one is known as later or beta prototype. Okay, so now what is happening, what is alpha prototype? So remember, if Apple has developed iPhone 17 in their company, right? So now what they are going to do, they are going to test the product in house. Okay, the first prototype they are going to create, and this first prototype without any feedback is known as alpha prototype. Okay, now once the prototype is ready, right, what you are going to do, you are going to test it with the user. Then what user will do, user will give the feedback. Okay, then what you are going to do, you are going to revise your prototype. Okay, so what you are doing, you are just revising the prototype, and this revised prototype is known as beta prototype. Beta prototype. Okay, and due to this reason, WhatsApp is still in its beta phase. Okay, so WhatsApp is a beta prototype. See, so what is happening, testing and refinement, you are just developing the prototype and checking the prototype and testing with the user. And what is happening, based upon the user feedback, you are refining the prototype. Okay, so once you are done, or once you are having your refined prototype, what you are doing, you are just moving ahead with the next step, and that is the production ramp up. Okay, now your product is ready. Okay, sorry, prototype is ready, and now you can go ahead with the product development. So here in the production ramp up phase, the product is made using the intended production system. Intended production system means you are going to check which machines are available, which tools are available, as well as raw material based upon the product. Everything you are going to check, right? So here ultimately production ramp up is to train the workforce means, and most of the time what is happening, the people those who are working in the production section, they are intelligent, they are experienced person, right? So there could not be any problem for the production right? So products produced during production ramp up are sometimes supplied to preferred customers as well, right? And are carefully evaluated to identify any remaining flaws. So sometimes like we are just creating one sample, and we are what we are doing, we are just sending it to the suppliers or the customers, and we are just checking whether that product is okay. Once the user will give, or once the customer will say okay, then what we are doing, we are just starting the complete production, right? So the transition from production ramp up to ongoing production is usually gradual, right? Gradual means you are increasing the number. At some point in this transition, the product is launched and becomes available for widespread distribution. It means that if your production is ready, now you are having the sufficient number of products within your hand, what you're going to do, you are just going to distribute it, right? So ultimately then if your product is launched, you are going to have the meeting, and you are going to check whether everything is okay or not. Okay, so this is your generic product development process.